The CEC CU? Yeah, the CEC-CU. CEC-CU. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Chucky and Friends is a proposed animated series based on the characters of Chuck E. Cheese and Munch's Make-Believe Band. Those being Chuck E. Cheese, Jasper T. Gels, yes, I have props, Helen Henny, Krusty the Mr. Munch, and the most recent addition to the crew, Bella Bunny, now renamed, at least in the Chucky and Friends universe, as Bella Brinka. In November of 2025, there was a Christmas special produced by Happiness Entertainment and animated by Pixel Zoo Animation Studios. As of May 2026, when this video is being recorded, there has been no news, no updates on whether or not this animated series is getting a green light, which is a little bit disappointing and a little bit concerning. Typically in situations like this, the typical window is about 3 to 6 months. That's not to say that this window completely closes after 6 months, but it just will make less and less sense for them to pick this up. And there's also a lot of behind-the-scenes CEC Entertainment stuff that, in my opinion, points to this animated series not moving forward. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think that it's moving forward, we're going to get into a little bit more of what's going on and the reasons why or why not Chucky and Friends may or may not be made. But I would love to start a conversation in the comments about this, so let me know what you think. The idea for an animated series starring the Chuck E. Cheese characters was first brought up all the way back in 2020 by David McKillips, who is the now former CEO of CEC Entertainment. The former CEO expressed interest in the idea of expanding the Chuck E. Cheese brand beyond its restaurants into a CEC cinematic universe of sorts. My words, not his. I just love the way that sounds. Honestly, the CEC-CU? Yeah, the CEC-CU. CEC-CU. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? As a way to recover from the issues and bankruptcy caused by the pandemic. Honestly, Chuck E. Cheese was struggling for a while up until the pandemic, and the pandemic was just like a nail in the coffin. But somehow, it survived. Another project that the former CEO teased that we now just kind of have hanging in the air without an update is actually a really fun one. A Chuck E. Cheese inspired game show. Of all the things that probably won't happen, I'm putting this pretty high on the list. Game shows are relatively cheap to produce, but who's asking for this? Like, I love nostalgia, I love game shows, I love Chuck E. Cheese. One of my short-term life goals right now is to get on a game show, so this is like, I am the target audience for this, and I'm still kind of like, I don't see this happening, and I don't really see it being a valuable allocation of funds for Chuck E. Cheese. Let me know in the comments if you've ever even heard of this project. If I had heard of it in the past, it slipped my mind. It was announced in 2024, and I really don't remember it, and I feel like I would remember it. Like I said, I love game shows. David McKillips officially stepped down from his role as CEO in February of 2026 and was replaced by Scott Drake, the former CFO, or Chief Financial Officer. I'm not going to pretend like I understand the ins and outs of corporate America. That means he deals with the finances, and CEO is executive, so anyway, that's not my bag, that's not my cup of tea. I'm not talking about corporations right now. I am fixing my bangs though, that's more my bag. This replacement probably puts a pretty solid wrench in the plans for this expansion into TV and movies and all of that David McKillips had planned. I'm a little less tuned into the online Chuck E. Cheese fan space than I was. Even when I was pretty deep into the Chuck E. Cheese fandom spaces, I feel like I wasn't seeing that much excitement and push for it. In articles announcing the new CEO, language surrounding the future of CEC Entertainment seems to focus heavily on expanding physical locations rather than getting the TV show off the ground. To quote an article that I found from Dallas Innovates, in 2026, the company plans to continue expanding its footprint through new Chuck E. Cheese Adventure World locations, the growth of its mega superhero playgrounds, and additional resort-based Chuck's arcades. It will also debut its first Chuck E. Cheese in the UK and continue expanding its international presence. So basically what I'm inferring is that it would be pretty easy to wipe David McKillop's TV show animation projects off the slate and just focus on other things, because there's plenty more to focus on. Especially when Chuck E. Cheese hasn't necessarily been known in recent years for wanting to prioritize paying real artists for things. Cue the AI slop montage. I thought it would be a fun segment in this video to pull some Letterboxd reviews to give an idea of how it was received. It has an average of 3.1 stars, which isn't too bad for a property that is, I'm saying this as a fan, kind of irrelevant. I will say that a 3.1 star rating is fine. Literally, it's like the definition of fine, average. It's not really necessarily enough to justify a multi-million-dollar series order. Here are a couple of my favorite reviews from Letterboxd. We're going to go all the way from half star to 5 stars. And then we're going to get into the pitched episode descriptions for Chucky and Friends that I have not talked about before. I vaguely mentioned them in my video where I talked about the leaked pitch Bible, but I did not get into the specifics of what the plots of the episodes are, and we are going to do that. But first, let's read some Letterboxd reviews. Starting with our lowest rated review from Borge, who watched A Chuck E. Cheese Christmas on December 15th, 2025, and had this to say. There's quite a range on these reviews, by the way. Chuck's Arcade keeps insisting on itself as revelation when it is a rebranding loop closing quietly behind us, penetrating Fun Spot's logic while wearing Chucky's beautiful garb, same interior grammar, same clipped footprint, same fluorescent present tense of modern cabinets blinking at one another, no prize counter economy, no mascot mythology roaming the periphery. Chuck, yes, a logo laundering memory. People, even myself, see that rodent silhouette, and the mind autofills carpet constellations and the low mechanical sigh of something half alive behind a sage curtain. Naught of such is encoded here. No retro cabinets waiting like reliquaries. No food anchoring time to taste. This isn't cynicism or a Killjoy's corrective. The original Fun Spot concept of minimal Arcadis function rather than Arcadis world did not pull bodies the way CEC needed it to, did not move the ledger into the black, so the iconography had to dress up and reframe itself as a rival rather than merely a semantic upgrade. These are the details we have, aligned and unromantic, laid out so the myth can stop metastasizing. That's the half-star review. I need to get back into writing. I don't know that commented much on the special itself, but it was just so like breathtaking among a sea of half-star reviews that were just like, this bad, this sucks. And I just had to shout out Borge for that one. I'll be linking all of these Letterboxd reviews in the description below so that you can give all these creators love as well. Now we're moving on to our 1-star review from Lucas, who watched on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2025, and said, "The only highlight in this soulless corporate slop is that Mrs. Claus was kinda hot." I do agree that Mrs. Claus was like unnecessarily cunty. Moving on up to 1.5 stars, we have Molatera's important contribution after watching on December 1st, 2025, which was simply Freddie Benson's Fursona. Funky Studios watched the special on December 1st, 2025, gave it 2 stars, and said, CEC Entertainment spent 99.99% of their annual revenue towards producing this film. Which is a very good point, and probably why this show won't end up happening, because the money is just not there. Next, we're going to hear from Meg, who watched the special on December 12th, 2025, gave it 2.5 stars, and said, "As someone who worked for Charles Entertainment Cheese in the early 2000s, and as a 90s kid who basically lived at that place for birthday parties, I went into this super hesitant. This is definitely not the Chuck E. Cheese I grew up with, and honestly, kids today don't even know who Jasper, Helen, or the rest of the crew even are anymore. But after watching it, it ended up being way better than I expected. The songs were insanely catchy, and I didn't even need to check IMDb to know Nolan North was Jasper. I recognized that voice anywhere. And hello, Freddie Benson. I see you over there voicing the pizza-loving rat himself. I still prefer the old, chunkier Chuck E. Cheese, but honestly, this feels like the closest we're ever going to get to a little peek back into the company's golden days." I really do resonate with this review from Meg, and I feel like it most closely aligns with the way that I feel about this special. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it is the old Chuck E. Cheese. I don't think that we are going to get the old Chuck E. Cheese back because we are in 2026. We're not in the 1980s. We're not in the 1990s. We're not in the 2000s. We are in the future, and things can't be the way that they were. I think that we can be referential and like pay tribute and give love to those eras. And I think that Chucky and Friends is like one of the closest things in a long time that has done that. But it's not going to be the era that you prefer. Like, it's just not. Carly's 3-star review is the one that we're going to read next. From December 12th, 2025. I put this on expecting to laugh at how bad it is, but it made me hopeful for the future of entertainment. It seems like people really phone it in for kids' movies these days, thinking the audience is beneath the filmmakers/studios, but this plays to the intellect of the audience, assuming they're intelligent enough to follow fast-paced dialogue and understand big words based on context clues. It was funny, it was sweet, it was refreshing. I cannot believe Charles Entertainment Cheese is back in a big way in 2025. Make America whimsical again. Mawa. Mawa. I do agree with Carly that this is like more intelligent humor and less like kind of the toddlery humor that I feel like the stuff on the YouTube channel can lean at times. I do think that the stuff on the YouTube channel and the stuff that like plays in the stores these days isn't bad. It definitely leans more towards like the target audience of like under 8 years old, and I feel like Chucky and Friends could appeal to like the whole family and or at least like older kids that aren't like 5. Big Spillage watched the special on December 17th, 2025, and I will say that I know it's a holiday special and that like people are more likely to watch things during that holiday season and that holiday specials are less likely to kind of break containment. But I do find it interesting that like most of the reviews that I read, and I read through like pages and pages of reviews, are in the immediate like month that the special released, and there hasn't really been many people watching it in the like 6 months since. It makes me feel like there was probably like a sizable boom and then the graph just like fell off, and that also could contribute to why CEC wouldn't want to pick this up, because there's not much continued interest, but that's partially because some people do, but like not many people just sit and watch a holiday special in like March. Back to Big Spillage. This part of Big Spillage's review is what I wanted to specifically pull out. I don't know what's weirder, the fact that an American fast food chain has made multiple Christmas TV specials, or the fact that this was actually pretty good. Which, if you don't know, the Christmas that almost wasn't. The story was obviously simple and predictably about having parties at restaurants, but the animation is awesome and the voice acting was good. Nathan Crest was particularly great. This was super goofy in a good way, and Jasper's japes were wonderfully witty. What is a jape? One second. I gotta Google the word jape real quick. A prank, practical joke, or witty jest. Never heard that word before. Only 50 minutes and festive fun. And this next one, representing the 4 stars category, is from someone named Evie. Oh, hey. That's me. Follow me on Letterboxd if you want. My username is @EviePassini. I don't watch as many movies as I would like to, especially as like a film grad and somebody who claims to love movies. I have not watched that many movies this year. Trying to get better about it, but anyway. Evie watched on November 28th, 2025, gave the Chuck E. Cheese Christmas special 4 stars, and said, "A genuinely cute and fun Christmas special and a fun introduction into what I hope will be a good upcoming animated series, Chucky and Friends. Jasper is by far the most endearing / standout character to me, but I think everyone, other than Munch, was cute and fun." And then puts on my friend who's too woke hat. The whole Bella is so cute she can just get anyone to do whatever they want gimmick also feels like it could get old very quickly and feels kind of cheaply pulled from some sort of old misogynistic, seductress narrative in a way that I could do without. I hope the rest of the series fleshes her character out past being, quote, irresistible to the point where it basically hypnotizes people, because it kind of just gives me the ick. Overall, very cute though. I hope that criticism of the whole Bella thing makes sense. It makes sense to me. It feels like just like a weird kids show version of like a Jessica Rabbit, where she just like seduces everyone and like gets away with things because she's like so sexy, and it just like feels weird to kind of draw a parallel between that and then like a cutesy kids character that's supposed to be like 4. Do you see what I'm saying? Somehow there was only literally one 4.5 star rating, so James McKee, shout out to you. He watched on December 19th, 2025, gave it 4.5 stars, and said, "Pros, at least it's better than the Chuck E. Cheese slideshow that was the Christmas that almost wasn't. Great music and voice acting. Cons, could possibly be dated from a case of Deadpoolification." There are some millennial core jokes. I'll leave it at that so that we can get to our final 5-star review from Pretty Brady, who watched on November 27th, 2025. "This was the most pleasant surprise I have ever gotten from any TV special. We are so back, Chuck E. Cheese fans. I cannot describe the excitement I had watching this special. Not only was it surprisingly hilarious, but it genuinely feels like such a charming special thanks to the memorable cast and characters. I remember when the teaser trailer came out and people were extremely unsure about what to think of the special and how it might turn out. Rest assured, this was an absolute treat. Chuck E. Cheese and the gang have been reimagined in a way where we can look back fondly while also welcoming these new versions of the characters. The Phineas and Ferb tech comedy shines in this. This special was extremely funny, with so many jokes really sticking the landing. The pacing works so well that the comedy flows amazingly with the rest of the writing. Jasper was my favorite, hands down. A lot of people complained that he didn't have an accent, but oh man, his timing absolutely made up for it. And the visuals? Wow. Everything feels so handmade in the most perfect way possible. Rigged animations can get a bad rep where it may come off as cheap, but I certainly beg to differ. The animation in this is lively and visually appealing to look at. The movements bounce and flow very well, so it doesn't feel like you're missing a thing. As a bonus, the backgrounds are also stunning to look at, and they really help the viewer get settled into the world. This special really understands lighting when it comes to each setting. A pleasant special to watch for just the visual aspect for sure. Whether you're with family or your grown-up friends, this is a perfect watch for the holidays. I cannot recommend this enough. Please give the Chuck E. Cheese Christmas special the attention it deserves." I thought that those two, the half-star review and then the 5-star review, really nicely bookended each other. They were both very detailed and very, in their own ways, showing how much they care about the company and how much they care about their connection to Chuck E. Cheese. And clearly it evoked strong feelings one way or another in people. To say that nobody cared about this special and that it didn't impact anybody would be a lie. I hope that you enjoyed that little sampling from Letterboxd. I found it really fun to scroll through and see what everybody was saying. And if you want to give these reviewers any love, the links will be in the description. If you want to connect with me on Letterboxd, again, at Eva Piscini. Last year, I read the leaked pitch Bible for Chucky and Friends for a video. Feel free to watch it if you want. I want to take this time to go ahead and fully read and break down these episode descriptions and talk about what it would be like if they were made. So there are descriptions for 11-minute short episodes and then descriptions for more 44-minute specials. Feel free to let me know what you think of these episode descriptions in the comments below. I would love discussion. I'm going to try to respond to every comment. Anyway, let's get on to the first episode description. The first episode description that I'm going to read is titled Munch for President. On Munch's planet, the traditional rite of passage, like a bar mitzvah or debutante ball, activities just so happen to mirror running for president here on Earth. Like hanging inspirational signs around town, buying TV ads that end with "Mr. Munch approves this message," and even meeting with lobbyists. This results in Mr. Munch accidentally getting elected president. Chucky is ecstatic to plan the inaugural celebration ball. Jasper's only too happy to be the wisecracking press secretary. Helen worries that her friends are not taking this seriously enough, but Chief of Staff Bella snaps into action to do some good for the world. Okay, so being the Krusty the Cat stan that I am, I have a little bit of a wall up, admittedly, when it comes to Munch storylines. It is super cute to me to see the different roles that the characters are taking on in the administration. Chuck planning the party, of course. Helen being the glue that holds the administration together. It's always the women that hold things together, isn't it? Jasper being the wisecracking press secretary. Please replace our current press secretary. And even Bella being the chief of staff and presiding over the whole thing. It's a really fun idea. I would be curious when this idea was written, if this was developed somewhere around the early 2020s. So I would wonder, not to get political as if I haven't already gotten political by saying that I preferred Jasper and Munch and everybody else to be in the administration instead of who we have currently. But I don't feel like we're really in a time where we can cutesily parody or reference the current administration or the concept of the presidency. I feel like it would be hard to do right and not be weird or offensive or just, do we need a presidency? thing right now in our country is falling apart. I know that they don't live in America, they live in Chucky and Friends world. It feels kind of unnecessary to draw the parallels between, well, actually, it is unnecessary, but it is pretty appropriate that somebody completely incompetent and unqualified is being elected president. Maybe if done right, in the right hands, this could actually say something interesting. I would watch it. I don't know if it's necessary. The next perspective episode description that we're going to be reading is titled Hello Bunny, and these are the events of the episode. Chucky and friends are thrilled to go to the huge anime convention in town. When they arrive, they are surprised and delighted to discover a new Japanese cartoon character that everyone is obsessed with that looks a lot like Bella. Fans from all over the world, many dressed in Bella lookalike cosplay, go gaga when they see her, much to her annoyance. In the end, Bella sees how much joy this character brings to everyone and learns to accept and even enjoy the attention. This is a pretty cute idea, I think. I could see it having a lot of opportunity for some fun animation and like cartoon Easter eggs at the con, since there's going to be or there would hypothetically be a lot happening and a lot of opportunity for visual references. I could see it would be so fun to see old walk around characters and Pizza Time Theater characters and references and stuff like that. And I feel like having a super busy, super crowded, very auxiliary character heavy episode could be really fun. I feel like this could end up being a little bit of a filler episode, which is not a bad thing. I think filler episodes are absolutely necessary, and I think a lot of modern TV is kind of missing filler episodes because everything is so tight and produced and 10 episode seasons, 15 episode seasons and stuff, and there's not time for the characters to just flesh out and grow and interact with each other and be. What I'm saying is that I think this episode description, this episode idea has a lot of potential and I would watch it. Our next 11-minute episode description is titled Playing Chicken. In Playing Chicken, Helen's little brother's basketball team loses a big game and are feeling dejected. Helen encourages her brother not to give up and practice makes perfect. Chucky, on the other hand, is thrilled that despite not winning, the team scored more points than they ever have before, and that remarkable improvement is cause for celebrating. So he throws a basketball-themed party filled with basketball-themed games. While having a blast at their party, the team inadvertently practices all of the aspects of basketball that needed improvement, and the next night, those skills give them their first victory. I'm personally very here for Helen having a little brother and getting a possible peek at her family life. According to the Chuck E. Cheese wiki, Rockstar Helen has two older brothers named Harvey and Henry. Prior to this, a younger sibling of Helen's was shown along with her parents in the flashbacks from Helen's childhood and Merry Christmas Time. I'm curious if this younger sibling is the brother that we end up seeing, or if they end up reappropriating Harvey or Henry. Harvey, Henny. Very easy to say. So yeah, maybe Helen has 3 brothers, maybe Helen has 4 siblings, we don't know, and I hope that we get a chance to find out. I hope that we get a chance to explore her interior life some more. Also, outside of that little fun tidbit that we might be getting, I think that this concept is a really good idea and a really fun idea for an episode of children's television, and I think that this could be kind of a point of strength for the Chucky and Friends series, is the learning through fun, even if you fail at first, finding a way to make learning and experiencing things a celebration every time. I feel like the Pitch Bible really heavily implied that that was going to be the core of Chuck's character, finding ways to celebrate while also learning and developing skills. This is a nice little tie-in. This is a nice thing that I feel like the show could really have a unique strength in. Now for the next 11-minute proposed episode description, we have the episode titled Forever Home. In the proposed episode description for the 11-minute episode Forever Home, Chucky throws a birthday celebration for their proudly stray cat Copernicus. Helen can see that Copernicus secretly longs for a real, happy home and suggests turning the party into an animal rescue event, which ends up finding homes for dozens of animals, including the thrilled Copernicus, who comes to live with Chucky and the gang. Unfortunately, Jasper is not thrilled with the overbearing, quote, dog people who want to take him home. This could have been Krusty. This would have been so cute. I know that Copernicus is a character that already exists and has existed in show tapes for years. I still think that his existence makes no sense when he could have been Krusty. He looks just like Krusty. It should have been Krusty. What the heck? This also feels like a really good opportunity for some cameo or like Easter egg appearances from minor Pizza Time Theater characters. Like, Harmy Howlett could pop up here, right? Any of the like vaguely domesticatable animals that exist within the Chuck E. Cheese universe, I feel like could have an opportunity to show up here. Also, this does, I say domesticatable, but like this really poses some interesting questions about the dynamics between animals and humans in this universe. Like, are the animals Goofies or are they Plutos? Like, are the people trying to take Jasper home trying to like have him as a pet, or is there a weird like, we saw you on the other end of the bar and we liked your vibe for the people trying to take Jasper home? I don't think that that's what they're implying, but like, are animals roommates? Are they pets? Are they equals? Why is it an animal rescue? Is this like a homeless shelter kind of vibe? Like Copernicus is like proudly homeless and they know that he doesn't actually want to be, or unhoused, whatever the proper terminology. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Don't cancel me for talking about unhoused animals in the Chuck E. Cheese universe. What context are people trying to take Jasper home? I want to know. These are the episode descriptions for the 44-minute specials that they are proposing. RSVP for more 44-minute specials. The first 44-minute episode proposal is titled Happy Yesterday. Chucky and friends decide to create a brand new national holiday like Easter, Christmas, and/or Halloween to celebrate what Chucky feels always should have been celebrated but never is. Yesterday. It's a holiday celebrating all the inspiring historical words, deeds, and accomplishments of those upon whose shoulders we all stand, but often take for granted or don't even know about. Chucky's goal is to make yesterday a big family holiday with its own traditions, iconography, signature food, customs, costumes, decorations. I gotta say, this sounds really fun. This also gives the vibes of like the kind of thing that a teacher would show in a classroom like near the end of the year. Is that a relatable reference to anybody? Like when you've kind of like taken all of your exams or like it's about to be spring break and you just like watch movies. I feel like this is the kind of thing like a very like My Friend Martin kind of vibe. Like it's educational, but it's also like fun and flashy. Maybe like Magic School Busy is a more apt comparison. It feels like it has the bones for like a really solid educational fun program if done right. I will say that the angle of like focusing on different types of celebrations and learning about the celebrations and where they came from and how we can kind of like incorporate parts of these celebrations into our lives and our everyday life to like celebrate every day is an interesting, unique, possibly effective angle for a kids show. The idea that each episode or special vaguely, loosely is on some level about a different type of celebration. Like we are really seeing an embracement, is that a word? Of the spirit of celebration, which is what they want to get across with the character of Chuck E. Cheese and what they want Chuck E. Cheese to embody. And I think that this TV series and these specials could be a really effective tool in getting that point across and having people associate Chuck E. Cheese with not only celebration on your birthday, but just like the concept of celebration and like bringing celebration into your day-to-day life. It's an interesting angle. It's something good and different, and I'm personally here for it. The next Perspective 44-minute special is titled Munch-O-Ween. In Munch-O-Ween, it's Munch's first Halloween, and the costumed Chucky and friends are excited to take Munch around the neighborhood to experience a classic, fun Halloween night of adventures and trick-or-treating. Chucky, Jasper, Helen, and Bella each have a different perspective on what the holiday is all about, which the audience sees in anthology cutaways. For example, Chucky is fascinated by the opportunity one day a year to have so much fun celebrating things which are otherwise considered negative or scary. I love anthologies, and I think that it can be a really fun, effective way to tell like a bunch of stories at once and to give each character their own little focus. In a 44-minute special where each character gets a chance to tell their own little Halloween story to Munch, who is like this fish out of water that we're able to teach about these like Earth celebrations is a really fun and really good tool. This again emphasizes the learning about the spirit of celebration, learning about where different celebrations come from, and how to incorporate different parts of the spirit of celebration of these different celebrations into your day-to-day life. I feel like in that episode, we would get a chance to see how Chucky can encourage people to celebrate scary, different things more often and not just on Halloween. I think that's a nice lesson. That's a good, sweet kids show lesson. And I, Evie Piscini, personally, am here for it. I think it sounds fun. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I really do want to hear, if somebody wrote, paragraphs telling me what they think of each episode description, that would make me really happy. But I'll take anything, so comment. The last proposed 44-minute episode special is titled Cheese Your Own Birthday, which I think is such a cute little fun, punny title. Chucky's parents taught him to celebrate every day like it was his birthday, and he did. No one ever asked or cared what his actual date of birth was, nor did he, until signing up for classes to improve upon the one party skill he has never mastered: magic. Even if you show him your card, he still can't find it. The magic class needs a birth date on the sign-up form, so Chucky goes on a 365-day adventure to determine once and for all which day of the year is the most fun day to celebrate a birthday on and claim it as his own. In the end, he realizes every day is truly a special day to celebrate and decides not to pigeonhole himself into just one. Okay, I like this episode description, but I also have thoughts, because what do you mean orphaned Chuck E. Cheese, which was a relatively recent canon decision to make him an orphan? He now has parents, and those parents don't know when their child was born? What do you mean? That's not a thing. This is giving Chuck E. Cheese was kidnapped. Sorry about my language. This is giving Chuck E. Cheese was kidnapped by his parents, and they never gave him a birthday. And now that he's asking about it, they're panicking, and they're like, oh, we just decided to let you celebrate all the time, and we just didn't want to hold you down, tie you down, tether you down. What? This is a pretty cute special idea, though, and I think it could be a fun, season finale. Started at the beginning of the season and have the season be him going through. Obviously, it wouldn't be a 365 episode, 365 day season, whatever, and we don't have to track it on okay, now we're on day 50 and Chuck E. Cheese is testing this one. But if we set this up as a story device at the beginning, and then at the season finale or the series finale, have him make that decision of oh, I don't need a birthday, every day is worth celebrating, and it'd be great to have my birthday on Halloween, it'd be great to have my birthday on Christmas, it'd be great to have my birthday on Arbor Day. And we go through the series with him using that as the device to be let's go on this adventure and let's learn about this celebration and then let's learn about this holiday, and kind of compare it with would it be good to have my birthday on this day? And then at the end of the episode be no, actually this day has its own special things, and I don't need to it can live on its own as its own celebration, basically. I kind of see the vision. I don't really see if this is just a random one-off episode or if it is a plot device for the entire series. I think that is an idea that they've probably toyed with and maybe figured out at this point if the show is going to happen. If it does, I don't know that it will. That was the final episode description that I had to read, and that pretty much wraps up this video for today. Do you think that the series is going to happen? Do you want it to happen? Have you watched the Christmas special? Did you review it on Letterboxd? Did I read your review maybe? Did you enjoy this video? Have you subscribed to my channel? These questions are getting a little bit more self-serving as I get further down, but I really do want to know your thoughts on the special, the thoughts on the series, if you think it's going to happen, your thoughts on CEC Entertainment these days. There's a lot going on, and a lot of things that I feel like the money is probably going to need to be budgeted towards before they keep expanding an animated universe that not that many people are asking for. I would love to see it, but I would rather them allocate their money towards keeping the stores open, keeping what is left of Chuck E. Cheese physical, before we maybe allocate a bunch of millions of dollars towards a television show that ultimately might not make it. Anyway, thank you for watching. I just want to quickly say my birthday is coming up in July. This is a little bit cheesy, but my birthday is coming up in July, and it would be absolutely amazing, great birthday gift to get closer to 1K subscribers, if not to actually get to 1K subscribers by my birthday. So just putting that out there. If you're not already subscribed, if you've enjoyed any of my videos, including this one, maybe throw a little subscription my way. I wouldn't hate it. I would actually like it, in fact. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts or suggestions for future videos, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments or to reach out to me if you don't want to leave them in the public comments. This isn't like an invitation to be weird to me in DMs, but like you can DM me. Just don't be weird, please. I have my Linktree in my bio, so if you're looking to find me, you should be able to find me somewhere through that. That is all I have for this month's main video. I post monthly niche, nostalgic, and nerdy videos on my channel, so check back at my catalog and check forward for what I post next. Thank you for watching. Have a Chucky day.